Happy Wednesday and welcome to your science lesson for today. So today we are going to take the thinking that we did in our graphic organizers on Monday and we are going to start turning that into scientific writing. If you didn't yet go and fill out the graphic organizer that you see in front of you, please go back and do that. And if you're struggling with it, make sure you're reaching out for help from me or from many of the other adults that I know are in your lives that are awesome and ready to help you with some schoolwork. Okay, so back to thinking about what we're going to do today. So this graphic organizer, which we've been working on all year and it's getting more and more complicated, is we're done with. It's not going to grow anymore. This is a way of developing your ideas and also really developing, figuring out where your brain is coming up with the ideas it is and filling in some holes that it might be missing. So science is a lot about developing our common sense, making our guesses and our knowledge about the world better. And so here, this is kind of like how we're developing that. We start with our evidence, then we move on to answering the question, and then we really make sure our reasoning is kind of a double check. Did our evidence really support our claim? Can we really go through the process of coming and from our claim to our question and making sure our evidence is present along the way? So this is how we develop an idea. But when we write an idea, we use a different process. Or a different order, more like it. But before we move on to that, I want to give some shout outs to some people who I saw really amazing work from on Monday. So the first shout out I want to give is to Yvonne. I just really want to shout out her evidence here. It just is really simple. It's really concise. And if you look down here, she talks about kids being bored in her evidence, and then again here in her reasoning, she talks about kids being bored. She is making sure she's kind of connecting those two, and I thought that was great. Mario here also did a really great job with his evidence, kind of thinking about all the different graphics and making sure he's citing them. And then again down here, his evidence and his reasoning are very much connected, and his evidence and his claim are also very much connected. He's not just pulling random stuff. Everything is driving at the same idea. I want to point out Alita's reasoning. I just think her jumps are really clear, and I love even this little tiny jump here where it's if schools provide fun activities, one of them is art projects. If schools provide art projects, kids will want to do them. It makes sense. Schools provide a lot of different stuff, but we should be making sure we provide the stuff kids want. And so that little jump really brings out clarity in her thinking. And then again, she's doing these things, talking about being bored, which she had talked about here in her evidence. They're really connected. And last, I really want to talk about Jaden's. I just love, especially bringing out ideas that we thought about in the last unit, talking about food, and then saying food will have energy, and if people can have energy, then they can go play. I wouldn't necessarily promote people to go outside right now because of the stuff that's going on with COVID, but I think that his thinking and his connections in his reasoning are really clear, and I love that. Okay, so going back to this. So this is how we build our thinking. But how you build your thinking and how you present your thinking to other people are not always the same thing. How we build our thinking is messy and has a lot of loop-de-loops in it, and or we go back and forth a lot. But when you present your ideas, they should be simple, concise, and very straightforward. But so I am providing a pretty blank, organizer. When you present your thinking, this isn't the only way to present your thinking, but it's the one we're going to practice right now. You're going to start with your claim. Then you're going to state some of your pieces of evidence and make sure you fully explain them. And lastly, you're going to do your reasoning. These are the same words that are here. And very intentionally, they are the same things. Probably the thing you wrote in claim, you could just copy into here. Then you're going to have to write your evidence and your reasoning. But again, it's the same thinking. The thinking hard work is done. I did provide some sentence frames that might be helpful. Don't just use all of these sentence frames willy-nilly. This is a menu. You don't have to order everything off the menu. If you do, you'll be stuffed and you won't be able to finish anything. You should probably maybe order 1 or 2 things from each of these sections. I guess seeing as there's only 2, I would guess probably only 1 from each of these sections. Except reasoning, you might need more reasoning. This is to help your thinking as you're transitioning from this graphic to this graphic. Lastly, I made this line a dotted line because in reality, what you write here should be one flowing paragraph that you could read out loud and would make sense for as it flowed together. But sometimes if I just give space to say write a paragraph, a lot of the thinking that went here gets lost because kids get overwhelmed with trying to write everything down. So I still want you to kind of be thinking about breaking it up. This might actually really connect to some of the work you've been doing with Miss Erling, where you have like a topic sentence. Your claim and your topic sentence are really connected. I know she actually uses evidence a lot as she talks about it, and she has a different word for reasoning, and I'm not certain what it is, but it's very connected to what you guys have been doing in Miss Erling's class. When you're done filling this in, make sure you read it aloud a couple of times, and then make sure that it contains all of the amazing thinking that you had here. Okay, that is kind of the overview of what you need to turn into me tomorrow. And lastly, I should also have given you a lot of comments and graded you on the rubric that we're using for claim evidence reasoning, so that you can see your progress as your thinking gets better and as your explanation of your thinking gets better. Okay, good luck with that. And remember, if you need help, to sign up for office hours or text me or just like meet me in my Zoom classroom, and we can do some work on this together. Hopefully you are staying happy and healthy, and reaching out and making sure you're doing fun and goofy activities as well as working your brain with classwork a little bit every day. Okay, have a great evening or day.